So today, I'll be continuing with my schedule discussion and point spread prediction videos. Today, I'll be doing Texas, mm, a program that for so long had been recruiting really well and it not showing on the field. They never actually had a really good team until uh, this past season. They finally did. Uh, Before they had struggled so much with consistency, and they finally got that fixed this past season. Uh, and we'll see if they can actually stay now a consistently good uh, program. And I think that they've got a really good chance to do that uh, this year. Uh, mm, because they have a whole lot coming back from last year's team, and they did really well in the transfer uh, portal. Mm. And back in 2022, uh, uh, the record was 8-4, then 8-5 with the bowl game loss. But uh, mm, they went in the regular season 0-4 and one score games. Uh, and then 0-5 if you count the bowl game. Uh, and then in 2023, they had another four close games, not including the bowl game, and they went 3-1 in those. So mm, a big difference was them just being able to win close games. Of course, they were a better team in 2023 than they were in 2022, but uh, some of that seems to just be uh, being able to win close games. Mm, And taking a look at their schedule, uh, it's obviously much different moving to the SEC this year. There's only one familiar opponent for them, and that's their rival, Oklahoma. Uh, that rivalry is going to continue. Uh, and for their first year in the SEC, really, they didn't get too bad of a schedule. Uh, mm, so, uh, in the conference, Oklahoma and Georgia will be uh, probably their two toughest games. And then in the non conference, they get two easy wins against uh, Colorado State and UTSA, and then of course they have the in between the big road game against Michigan. And I've told you that I don't think Michigan's going to be near as good this year, but Michigan hasn't lost at Michigan in any of these past three seasons. So uh, mm, if Texas wins that game, they'll be doing something that hasn't been done in quite a while, and they'll have a good chance to win that one this year. But it's not going to be easy. Mm, And those are the three toughest games, really, uh, for Texas this year to me. And then they're bringing back an old rivalry game with uh, Texas A&M uh, too, and it's on the road. So mm, that's not really an easy place to play, Texas A&M, and uh, they'll be a talented team. So that one could be a little bit tough for Texas, but uh, mm, really, all these other nine games except Michigan, Oklahoma, and Georgia are games that you would think if Texas is going to be as good as they were last year or even better, that they should be able to win. Mm. And uh, one really bad thing about this schedule, really the worst part of it, is having to play uh, mm, Oklahoma, uh, and then the Saturday after that play Georgia. Now the good news is they get to play Georgia at home, and Georgia I think will be the best team that they play this year on that schedule. Uh, but Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry is uh, one of the best uh, rivalries in college football. It's a pretty much always a tough game for Texas, no matter how good they are or how good Oklahoma is. Mm, except for that 2022 game where Texas beat Oklahoma 49-0. It's pretty much always been a one score game. That one has, uh, and that game is gonna uh, continue to be played in Dallas, Texas. So it'll stay a neutral game for Texas. So the good news with those two games in a row is they don't have a real road game out of the two. Mm, and it is good uh, to me that Texas gets their first week off before that Oklahoma uh, game. Mm, But mm, something else that's bad about this schedule is where the second week off comes. It comes after a road game against Vanderbilt and before a home game against Florida. Mm, That's a terrible time for uh, a week off because really I don't think that playing Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt is any tougher than playing them at your home field. Uh, the only tougher thing about it is that they'll have to travel a long ways to go blow them out. Mm, And then Florida uh, isn't, I don't think, going to be much better than Vanderbilt this year, and they get to play them at home. So uh, Mm, those are very likely just going to be two really easy wins for Texas, where they didn't need a week off there. Mm, So now I'll move on to the prediction. Mm, So if you haven't seen how I do my point spread, go back and watch the Ohio State video where I explain it. Uh, but the games in the green mm, are uh, the ones where I think that Texas will be favored to win by a blowout, 20 or more points. And mm, I see six of those: Colorado State, UTSA, Louisiana Monroe, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, and Florida. And games in the blue are games where I think that uh, Texas will be favored to win by 10 to 19 points. So not a close spread, but not a blowout spread. And those games are Arkansas and Kentucky. Mm, mm, And uh, in the purple are games that I think that uh, they'll be favored to win by about a touchdown, 6 to 9 points, and there's one of those, Texas A&M. And games in the pink are uh, the ones where I think that they'll be favored to win by about a field goal, 1 to 5 points. Uh, and there's one of those that's Oklahoma. Mm, And then the games in the black are the toss-up games where there won't be a favorite. I don't think those are Michigan and Georgia, and I don't see any games on here where Texas will for sure be an underdog in. It's possible that they could be an underdog in the Georgia game, but that'd be the only one that I think that they would possibly be an underdog in when it happens. So uh, that first game there, Colorado State, they'll be favored to beat them by 30 something points probably. Uh, they'll have no problem there. Mm, mm, And then UTSA is uh, one of the better, I think, non-power four teams. So the spread in that one may be like 25, uh, but it's still one that Texas should have no problem winning. If they do, then they're pretty overrated. And then Louisiana Monroe, they'll be favored in that one by 40 something points, probably. They'll destroy them. Mm, And Mississippi State, that spread should be uh, somewhere in the low 20s. I think that they're still uh, going to be one of the worst teams in the SEC this year. Uh, mm, then Vanderbilt, uh, uh, they'll be favored in that one. Mm, Probably in the high 20s. Mm, I really think that UTSA will be a tougher game for Texas than Vanderbilt will be. I think it'll be tougher playing them at their home place than playing Vanderbilt on the road. Vanderbilt is so bad. Uh, mm, then Florida, the spread should be somewhere about what it would be with Mississippi State, somewhere in the low 20s. Uh, mm, they should blow them out. Mm, And then mm, uh, Arkansas, mm, it's really just in the blue because it's a road game. I don't think they're going to be very good. I've said that before. Uh, Texas will probably be a 17 to 19 point favorite in that game. And then uh, Kentucky, mm, they should be like mm, a 17 point favorite in that one. Mm, And then uh, Texas A&M, it would be in the blue if it was a home game, but because it's a road game, I think the spread will probably be 8 or 9 points. Mm, and then mm, Oklahoma, right now, I'd probably say Texas would be favored in that one by 4 or 5 points. But when that game comes time for it to be played, that could even be a toss up. Uh, that one's just always really a toss up, pretty much, uh, no matter how good either team is. Uh, mm, and then Michigan is really just a toss up to me right now because it's at Michigan. Uh, I do think that Texas has a better roster right now than Michigan does. Uh, mm, and then uh, Georgia, mm, uh, it's in the black right now because it's at Texas. Georgia, to me, uh, looks like they have a little bit better of a roster than Texas does right now. They've probably got uh, the best roster in the SEC uh, right now, but uh, looks to me like the way the schedule works and the roster that Texas is going to have next year, they'll have a really good chance to uh, make the SEC championship game and are pretty much a sure team to make the 12-team playoff, and they'll have a really good chance to win it all this year. Uh, so that will be it with this video, and please subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching another video, and I'll make another one of these really soon.